Just because you love something doesn't mean that that thing is going to be easy. So today's Rebel Pixels video is going to be a little bit more personal than the ones I've done in the past. Now, I know I've sprinkled personal anecdotes in pretty much all of these motivational, inspirational, real advice kind of videos that I do on this channel, but this one in particular is going to be much more close to home because it's something that I'm going through right now. So as a lot of you probably know, I'm running a webcomic, or restarting running a webcomic over on Tumblr called Sorceress Lost. As you can see, the description is in the description of all my videos, whatever. I've actually finished a lot of the pre-production stuff that I needed to do on Friday, and so this weekend I've been working on actually starting it. And this kind of sounds weird because I made a whole podcast about like starting your project, but it's taken a big emotional toll on me to actually start this project. It actually started causing me like physical pain at one point. I was like curled up in a ball, like really just like a wreck, because I didn't feel like this was something I should be doing. It's not something I'm enjoying, and I'm doing the wrong thing. And I was having like a really hard time getting started and actually doing it and having that confidence in myself. And I mean, a lot of what I do on this channel is just as much for me as it is for anyone else, because all the things I talk about are things that I'm struggling with. Not that I've overcome, that I'm struggling with, currently. And this is the one right now that's really causing me a lot of problems. And it's because I think the medium of comics is something that I've tackled for years now, and I've failed every time that I've tried to do it for one reason or another, whether it's putting in too much faith into the person that I was working with on it, or just my own shortcomings, laziness, lack of motivation, lack of skill to make the product what I want it to be. And that's really with the wall that I'm running into right now. I did all this figure drawing and stuff, and then when I come to do figures in this comic, they're still not where I want them to be. They're better than any figures that I've done before, but they're still not what I see when I open up a comic book and read some of my favorites. And I'm starting to feel so frustrated because, I'm 26 years old and I feel like I should know all this stuff by now. And the way that my journey has gone, it hasn't led me to the place where I want to be, where I feel I should be at this point in time. And it's disheartening to say the very least. The process isn't something that's just coming naturally. You would think after all this time that it would just start to flow and I'd be able to do it and actually just get the stuff done, because I believe in the project, I believe in the medium, I believe in all these things, but it's not getting any easier. And I think that's my problem, and kind of what I wanted to communicate with this video is that just because you love something doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. And I think this is on me more than anyone else, because it's probably common knowledge to a lot of other people, but I seem to have this weird mental block where I think that if I'm not good at something, and if it's not easy and not coming naturally, that I'm doing something wrong, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, and I should go do something else, which is like completely the opposite of what real life is. The people with the most success and do things that they love, they struggle and fight for every inch of ground that they gain, and for some reason I forget that when I'm in the trenches doing that work myself, because you just see the product of all the other people, all the great comic artists that I look up to. You just see their work and you think that it must have just been like spit it out and be done with it. And that's not the case. And it's certainly not being the case for me. I've jumped back and forth from mediums and the way I want to express my vision. I've gone from comics to illustration to 3D modeling to writing to animation, and now I'm back in comics again. And it's just like this circular cycle of trying to find the path of least resistance. But the whole thing is that resistance, difficulty, is everything. It's the entire, everybody would be making a comic, everybody would be animating, everybody would be doing all these creative things if it was simple, if it was easy to do, and it's not easy to do. And that's something I need to keep remembering, is that like all the pain and all the emotional damage that I'm doing to myself, like struggling to like do one more panel, to do one more figure, to do one more drawing, to do one more page, is exactly what I'm signing up for. Anybody getting involved in creativity and running into this problem where you're like doubting yourself and you're feeling like crap and you feel like everything you're doing isn't good enough, that's normal. And it sucks that it's normal. I don't want it to be normal. I want to be confident. I've met a few people who are exceptions to this rule and can just go out and do things and like really feel confident in it. I want to be that. But I've met so many more people who are just like me when every step on that path is utter agony, and you're fighting yourself for every inch you gain. I'm in the middle of it right now because like it's starting, it's real again. Like everything I'm putting down isn't a concept art, it's not a doodle, it's not a sketch, it's the actual thing. And I'm 10 billion times more critical of every last line now that it's the actual product than I was for everything else leading up to it. And I'm just beating myself into the ground right now with incredibly high expectations and incredibly low self-esteem. And it's a terrible combination, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I know there are tons of people out there doing the exact same thing. And so I need to tell myself, and I need to put it out there in public, is that I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm not even close to where I want to be yet. But the only way I can get to where I want to be is to keep moving forward. And that means the first 10, the first 20, the first 50, the first 100, the first 1,000, the first 10,000 pages of this comic book, I could loathe every line on them. And I probably will, if my experience as an artist for the last 10 years is any indication. I will hate the whole thing. But it'll be 10 pages, 20 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages, whatever, of done comics. And that's more than anything I can say about what I've done in the past. So, I mean, maybe this isn't the healthiest mentality. Maybe I should go get a therapist. Maybe I need more help than I realize. But right now, where I am right now, I feel like the only thing that I can do is just keep moving forward and realizing that the pain is part of the process and that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I've dreamed of doing my entire life, is telling stories with visual medium. And I'm doing that. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Just because it's difficult and just because I can't stand what I'm producing doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. It's just part of the process. So until next time, I'm going to get back to the grind and hopefully it'll be a bit better than it was yesterday. My name's Tom Oliver, this is Royal Pixels, reminding you guys it might be indie, but that doesn't mean that we're alone. I'll catch you all next week.